Okay, listeners, we are back with another episode of this freaky show. It is the Freaky Podcast that celebrates Halloween throughout the entire month of October. I am your host, Travesty, and with me this evening,
the Freak Joe.
Did I throw you off there a little bit?
Just a little bit, but not badly.
Right?
I liked it.
It's weird because, like I said, I know we're doing all cold opens and stuff like that, but damn it if I just don't like doing the Freaky Show intro.
I love the Freaky Show intro. It's real good.
Yeah. Guys, we're back. We're actually, as we record this, we are 2 days away from Halloween. And I know you're thinking, guys, I only got 2 episodes of this freaking show this month. It's fine. We're going to do another one next week that's going to be Freaky Show as well. So you will get 4. That means you're going to get 4 freaky tales from Cartoon Joe. So don't you worry. Don't you worry. You're going to get one post-Halloween, which is different, but hey, you know what? Close enough, and it'll be okay, because we want to get you guys your stuff. Before we were recording, me and Cartoon Joe were, me and the Freak Joe. No, it was Cartoon Joe, because the Freak Joe isn't part of this. Cartoon Joe, who's kind of the producer of this, if you will. I can't keep you straight, Joe.
All good. No worries.
Before we were recording, I was talking to Cartoon Joe about the cemetery tours that we had planned for this year, and we're still going to do it. We're still going to plan it all out. It just got a little bit delayed, and I know I mentioned that several times. I do apologize to you guys because I know how much you love it. We still get views and comments on the ones we did back in 2020. So we are going to do them. They're just going to be delayed, and we figured, hey, you know what? Just because they're cemetery tours doesn't mean they have to be just in October. So if we get it planned out, we'll get it done before the end of the year. If we can't get it done before the snow falls, because, again, we're going into Indiana. We're going to check out, I want to say I got about 8 to 10 cemeteries routed out around the Indianapolis area.
Nice.
So we're going to do our best to get them done this year. If we can't get them this year, then hopefully in springtime we'll get them wrapped up. Get those out to you. I know we haven't got a lot of videos out to you guys as much as we hope so. Those are going to happen too, like the one chip challenge we're going to work on doing, maybe some food rankings and stuff. It's all coming to you. So don't you worry. We are here. I'm going to keep my promises. A lot of good things I expect to happen here within the next month or so. I was talking to Joe about it too. He knows, he loves the idea too. So hopefully yeah, right. So hopefully what I'm saying comes true, and then within the next month or so, huge changes will be coming to this freaking show for the better. But you'll still get me, Travesty. You'll still get Cartoon Joe 10 months out of the year, or 11 months out of the year. The Freak Joe 1 month out of the year. And of course, when we do the cemetery tours, I'm going to take Freak Joe with me and not Cartoon Joe, because the Freak Joe for some reason has a better appreciation of cemeteries than Cartoon Joe does.
True.
He says it reminds him of home. I don't know what that means.
Just what I said.
We're going to dive into talking about the Phantom Tollbooth for our Freakin Book Club as we wrap up the season. We're not gonna commit to the season for 50 months, right? Just to the end of the year.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right.
Okay. All right, cool. So obviously for this season, we talked about doing the Freakin Book Club, but that's what we've been doing with the Phantom Tollbooth and everything. That may become a regular thing starting next year as an additional gift to you guys. Who knows? Maybe on that Patreon that has been eluding us from starting up for so long.
Yes.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be part of that. So we'll look into doing that as well for next year. Excuse me. God. I can't stop calling. I am collaring this up.
Colicking?
Collaring.
Collaring. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, colicking. Yeah, no, I know I've tried to turn Colin into an adjective before. Is that an adjective?
Verb, I think, in this case.
Verb.
Yeah.
I know I tried to turn Colin into a verb when I coughed before, and I still can't do it. I am getting over bronchitis, so everything in my lungs and everything is finally breaking up and getting the mucus out. So if you hear me coughing, I do apologize. I will try to mute my microphone to prevent that. Just roll with me on this. It's been hell for the last week and a half.
Sucks.
I know. Where was I at, though? Oh, yeah, Freakin Book Club. So we might bring that to a regular thing starting next year. We're going to wrap it up this season, obviously. I think we're in chapter 12 of 20. So we got 8 more chapters to go. Until we dive into next season with a whole new segment that we're going to do called What If? And that's where we're going to take scenarios in the world and say, what if this didn't happen? Or what if this did happen? And we'll give our perspective on how the world would be like today because of that. I don't think there's really anything else I need to mention before we dive actually into the show. I think I kind of covered everything.
I think that's it, yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right. We're going to continue and talk about Halloween. There's actually a couple movies I do want to talk with you guys about in this episode. But before we begin anything, I do want to remind you all that this episode of this freaky show is brought to you by our friends over at Carter Comics. Now, if you guys are the nerds, I know you are, and you love reading comics, and not even reading comics, but also collecting comics, Carter Comics is the best place for you to go. With multiple eBay pages as well as a website, cartercomics.com. Dude has an abundance of comics. He was a comic book collector as a child, and as he grew up, the collection grew bigger. And he felt like he wanted to turn it more into just being a collector. He wanted to turn it into a business. Carter Comics has created. Dude has every type of comic, from the daily readable comic they get for a few bucks here and there, all the way up to the more expensive comics, because he does get graded comics. His big thing is grading comics and getting those good valued kind of comic books. A lot of them I think are around 9.4s, 9.6s, 9.8s. I don't know much about grading, but I believe those are pretty good. I think it's on a scale of a 10, right?
I think so, yeah. And I think a 10 it never really happens, so I think a 9.8 is about the highest you can get.
Yeah, and he's a huge fan of like the Superman, Batman, Spider-Man's, the big superheroes. He has plenty of comics of that. They're all listed there at cartercomics.com. That's cartercomics.com. You can check out everything he has, and just because that's what's listed doesn't mean that's all he has. He does have a lot more comics. So if you do make a purchase or anything, there is a comment section in the shipping order. You can sit there and ask him if he has any additional comics, and he will respond to you. You can actually reach out to them on their website as well and ask him, hey, do you have this kind of comic? Like I said, dude showed me his inventory. It's ridiculous how much he owns. Like I've been telling the guy to get a brick and mortar business for his comics, but he doesn't want to do it. He wants to do everything online because it keeps the cost down on what he sells, which I think is pretty cool too.
I was just perusing his site. It's very reasonably priced for a lot of these things.
Right. And I'm not I'm not a big comic guy. Like that whole world's new to me. So when it comes to prices, I don't know too much about it, but that's why we got Cartoon Joe here, the book guy. So if Joe says the prices are good, I believe him. You should believe him too, because Joe doesn't lie.
It's true.
Even the Freak Joe don't lie, which you think he would, but he doesn't. Not when it comes to books. Mischievous, yeah. So go to cartercomics.com, fill up your cart with all their amazing products. And I mentioned that little comment section in the shipping. Go ahead and tell them that we sent you. Say this freaky show sent you, Cartoon Joe sent you. Because we want them to let you know, we want them to know that our fans are supporting them as much as we are. And who knows, maybe down the line, if we do this so much more, maybe, just maybe, Carter will give out some gifts to our listeners here. That has been the talk, so let's make sure we get that happening. Just let them know that this freaky show, Cartoon Joe sent you guys their way. cartercomics.com, again, cartercomics.com.
Nice. And as we're getting ready to jump into the book club here, it's a great time to mention audible.com, which is one of our sponsors. If you want to get a free 30-day trial for Audible, including a credit towards your first audiobook, perhaps you'd like to pick up the Phantom Tollbooth and read along with us, you can do so at audibletrial.com/freaknet, and they'll hook you up. It'll be fantastic. You'll get a great book to listen to. We'll get a little bit of sponsorship money, and we'll all be happy. So head on over audibletrial.com/freaknet. That's FREAKNET. Head over there today. Get yourself a free book. It's great.
Awesome, Joe.
That's all I got.
Hey, that's all you need, man. That's all I need.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time mentioning stuff. Oh, I need to get a cough drop. Joe, keep talking while I go get a cough drop.
Yeah.
You know what? Start on the Fam Tollbooth chapter while I go get a cough drop. I'll be gone like 18 seconds.
Okay. So in this chapter of the Phantom Tollbooth, you'll recall the last time we talked, Milo had just met the Dr. Discord and Dr. Discord's din, and he's been warned about this valley that he's got to travel to on his way to Rhyme and Reason. And this valley is it used to be the Valley of Sound, but now it is the Valley of Silence. And this is immediately obvious as they enter the valley through this great stone gate, and suddenly they can't hear anything, and it's really eerie. Talk no longer ticks. The humbug, who is humming a lovely tune, suddenly is humming silently. And Milo, who is trying to talk about this, talks as much as he wants, but nothing comes out. And not even the car, which was previously squeaking along, is making any sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And this, if you've ever been somewhere and it's suddenly silent, it freaks me out. I don't know about you. Usually when things are quiet, they're too quiet. It's just not right.
Like The Quiet Place?
Yeah, although I haven't seen either Quiet Place or Quiet Place 2. I've heard they're really good.
I need to. Big fan of John Krasinski.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I didn't mean to interrupt.
But
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So, as they're tooling along, trying to figure out what's going on, they suddenly run into a crowd of protesting residents of the valley who are they want their sounds back. Damn it, that's what they're after. So, do you want to pick it up from there, or would you like me to keep going?
Either way, man. I mean, this is your opportunity to talk, but I can say some things.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm happy. Yeah, I can go either way.
No, I'll talk a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So they bump into the protesters, if you will, with their signs. A couple of cute signs they got. Things like "Down with Silence," "All Quiet is No Diet," which I love. I think that's my favorite one.
That's good.
It's laudable to be audible. So
that's my favorite.
That one, God, when I first read it, I'm like, what the fuck is oh, gotcha. I got it. Laudable. I like it. More sounds for all. And, basically, the guys want to know what's going on. Why is it so quiet in the valley and everything? And, one of the guys, starts writing on this big chalkboard, giving the story about, the keeper of the sounds and how back in the times, if you will, the keeper of the sounds used to give out sounds in the morning, take sounds in the evening, any new sounds to be categorized into a vault, to be saved and everything. And this became so repetitive until it got to the point where people kind of took sounds for granted. And she felt that people weren't appreciating the sounds. I don't know if I think I'm explaining this right.
Yeah.
Right, Joe, right? And I know, I think this is actually might be the first time, because I know, like, a lot of times in the book, like, whenever, Milo meets a new character, they do mention another character, but I think this is the first time where, like, a group of characters were mentioned, like Rhyme and Reason and the doc from the previous, chapter and all that stuff. And,
things are starting to come together, and you're starting to see how Rhyme and Reason, having gone into exile, has caused all of this chaos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the doc was giving them some medicine to kind of cure like some of the noise and sounds and stuff like that, which cured them of everything but that.
Yeah.
So in a fit of rage, the keeper of the sounds, if you will, kind of took everything back. Ordered everyone to bring the sounds back to her. She kept all the sounds. And now everything is silent around them, and people are sick of it. They're tired of it, and they requested Milo to join them in their war, if you will, to get their noises back. Actually requested that he go to the castle that the keeper stays at and to steal a noise. It doesn't matter what kind of noise. Just the littlest noise would help. so they can load up the cannon to shoot the noise at the wall, hopefully breaking the wall down so they can take the noise back.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to wrap it up, Joe, go for it.
Sure. And so in going to the soundkeeper, he goes and knocks on the door, and she answers. And well, actually, I'm sorry, he doesn't knock on the door. He writes on a sheet of paper the words "knock knock" and slides it under the door.
Now, go ahead. I want to ask you a question after you get to the next part.
Oh, gotcha.
You may. I know you're going to answer it, but I'm interrupting you for nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. So she opens the door and greets him, and he realizes, oh my gosh, I can talk while I'm in the castle. She's like, yeah, as long as you're here, you can talk, and we'll go. You know, you obviously want a tour of the place, so check out this radio silence, if you will. And she talked about all of her favorite programs, which I don't know what, she seems to be obsessed with silence lately. That's like her thing.
Yeah.
Is how silence has different sounds.
Yeah, like after you're closing the door after everyone leaves, you know,
the pause before dawn.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
That's one of my favorite silences.
Yeah, which is cool to think, because, like, I mean, and this book does kind of help you think and realize shit as you go through it, that, like, not every silence is the same.
Yeah.
You know, and it's true. I mean, and there's multiple silences that you really don't think. Have you ever heard someone express or ever hear somebody say that, I know it's fucking goofy, but you never stop clapping. There's just a longer pause in between claps.
I have heard that.
Yeah. So it's like,
once you clap once.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, it's one of the things where, like, you never realize how much silence there actually is in the world. Which, I guess realistically, like, the silences do kind of compare to the noises. I mean, like, you hear thunder strike, you know, then there's a silence before the next one hits, you know, as you're laying in bed and everything, not thinking about it. Mm-hmm. You know, you could hear a clock tick, but there's a silence in between the clock ticking, you know, and shit like that. So it's kind of pretty cool.
That's how we knew that our furnace was out, because the way that whoever's put it in set it up, there's always a fan circulating air through our home.
Yeah.
But when the furnace went out, the fan stopped.
Mm.
And so it was like, well, I'm a little cold, but, like, I'm not really noticing it yet. But it's quiet. There's no sound in my house. Freaked me out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, what's your question? What you were gonna ask?
Oh, do you think if he did knock on the door, he wouldn't hear it on his side, but she would hear it on his? Or
yes.
He wouldn't hear it on his side, but she would hear it on hers.
I do think that.
Yeah, right? It makes you think.
Yeah, I really like that. So anyway, she tours him around the place. He gets to see where the sounds are made. And I think that's a really cool scene. She goes and bangs on a drum, and there are these, you know, if you imagine what a bass drum sounds like, it is kind of like a large, fluffy cotton ball, like this thump noise, you know. Mm-hmm. But there's no actual sound when she beats on the drum. These fluffy cotton balls just appear, and then she takes and grinds them down, and when she puts the ground sound into the air, that's when you hear it. Which was really, really very cool. And I liked the way that, like, you know, clapping as sheets of paper, and, you know, that was neat. And then her cataloging system, where as sounds are made, they're automatically put into the filing cabinet. And I like the description of how they talk about, like, since, like, she has, like, banned sound from the valley, which I guess it was called the Valley of Sound beforehand. Yeah.
How when they entered the room and everything was, like, dusty and broken and unused and shit like that. So I thought that was a pretty cool description of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so he's trying to figure out how he's going to steal any of this, and she keeps a careful eye on him the whole time.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it's forbidden for him to take a sound home. Eventually he gets ready to leave, and she says something profound. I can't remember what it is, but he is excited by it, and he gets ready to like contradict her or exclaim or whatever, and he says, but he stops himself, and he keeps the sound in his mouth. And that's what I assume is going to take back to the townspeople in chapter 13. So, all in all, a great, really good chapter. Really enjoyed it. I love the concept of being able to carry sounds in an envelope, or if you've ever really had something to say but not been able to get it out, or like you want to hold on to it for later. That's exactly what it feels like. Like you got to hold it in your mouth and wait.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Especially like for me, if I've ever been really, really like just furiously angry, and I know I'm going to say something I'm going to regret. That's exactly what I feel like I'm going to, like, I gotta keep it in my mouth or I'm going to explode.
Yep.
So, I also like, so this is, I think the 4th or 5th journey he's been on since he got to, Dictionopolis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something like that. Go ahead.
Yeah. And it seems like it's goofy because it's like, first off, he is a child in this like unknown world. And it seems like all these people who, like, it seems at one point have worked together, but no longer do. They kind of separated themselves out, went their own way, started their own kingdoms and stuff, but they all have the same, similarity in they're looking for Milo for help.
Yeah.
No matter where he goes, I think that's kind of a cool concept because obviously, like I said, this chapter kind of starts bringing people more and more together. We're going to see that more and more as we move forward. So that's the one thing I do love about this book is you're meeting the different characters, knowing that and you get the backstories too. You're getting the backstories of everyone, the rhyme and reason, Digitopolis, like everything, links together. The humbug, and it's amazing. Doc, I can't remember the name of the thing that Doc is with.
Din.
Din, yeah. So it's all
Din.
Yeah, it's all pretty cool. And to think that all this started out from one little bored boy in a city.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think like that's one of the things I like too is you mentioned, he runs into these people. They all have the same basic problem. Right. And they look to him to fix it because there's this sort of, there's a theme that I'm starting to pick up on in the book that I think is mentioned in the prelude, like the author's notes at the beginning.
Yeah.
Where, as we get older, and become more busy with adult life, we start to lose sight of things and we start to lose sight of the beauty of the world. And so, like the people in the invisible city, and the city of illusion, or the city of illusion and the city of reality, we're so focused on the thing that's in front of us, we can't see the world around us,
Mm-hmm.
like the people in the Valley of Sound, we're so caught up in the frustrations of our age that we're always fighting and we can't hear the beautiful sounds of the world or the beautiful silences, I think there's this sort of like, and the answer to it all, at least I think from this author's perspective, seems to be this sort of childlike innocence, this childlike whimsy of, I've never experienced it before. I've never seen the colors of the dawn played out before me. I've never really gotten to experience the sound of a tapestry of music, and it's just this sort of like this idea that especially as a book written for children, like don't lose that, don't lose your curiosity, don't lose your interest, and adults are going to look to you for it because we forget, we get caught up in our lives and we forget about what's truly important.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you mentioned it because it's one of those things where, in this book, it gives the kids it's almost like a Peter Pan kind of thing, like a mystical wonder concept. I don't know why I used Peter Pan for some reason. I did, whatever, fuck it. To where it gives you an answer to where colors and sounds and even silence come from. For us, it's just natural. It's just normal. Why is this fucking green? Well, it's because it's fucking green. But when you look at the book and everything, it's because maybe a flute plays a tune a different way or something like that. Or, those flowers blossom because the fucking tubas are playing at this right time. And, you're hearing this noise coming from the rustling of the tree branches because she created it from, some machine in her castle. And it's just one of the things like everything seems to have an answer. whether it's letters, numbers, colors, sounds, everything is being, is a part of, the whole world that Milo is now venturing through.
Right.
So, and I think that's cool. Like I said, for a kid like Milo, who's bored of the world around him, this is giving him answers to everything around him and an appreciation of everything that maybe he's always taken for granted. There's always a car horn, and there's always, the gray sidewalk, no matter what the color is or something like that. And I think that's a really cool concept, as people realize going through the book.
Right. Well, and even sorry, you sparked a thought in me about, the concept that, that Talk is really worried about, wasting time. Like that's his thing as a watchdog. Like, don't waste time. Time is important. It's my very life, and Milo starts out the story as this kid who is absolutely all about wasting time. Like,
yep.
He does not pay attention on his way to and from school. He gets home as quickly as he can so that he can be bored.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really great. And it's, I feel like as we've been reading along, all of these things have been there, but this is the first time that I feel like one of the adults has really said it so clearly. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's what this book is about, Yeah. Like, it all just clicks together in this chapter for some reason for me.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's incredible. Like I said, the more we get into it, the more like shit starts coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I love this book. I'm glad this book won the vote. And like I said, this is probably the first book I've ever truly read since high school. This is probably the only book I ever read that I wanted to, not that, that there wasn't a report, or because, and I'm glad it's this book. Because like I said, I consider myself a child at heart, and fucking to use this, stuff as imagination, I'm glad we fucking did it. And I look forward to doing it a lot more.
Me too.
So, next chapter is chapter 13, which I believe is titled, I don't fucking know.
I don't know
either. Unfortunate Conclusions.
So
we'll dive into that one in our next episode. But I want to talk about a couple movies. One particular that has been a part of this freaking show for a few years, and one that's fairly new, that's actually more related and actually near and dear to my heart. The first one is Zombie with a Shotgun. If you guys remember, Hilton Ruiz, the creator of Zombie with a Shotgun, finally created his movie, Zombie with a Shotgun, actually released it and everything. Well, as a special treat to everyone, he released a full-length film absolutely free on YouTube.
What?
So, yeah. So I'm going to link it onto our Facebook page. It is at Hilton Ariel Ruiz's YouTube channel. Zombie with a Shotgun, the full movie, is like I say, he released it for the Halloween season, absolutely free. There's no say on if it's going to be permanent or only there during the time. So it's an hour and 20 minutes. I'm excited to actually sit down and watch it for the first time. I was waiting to get Hilton back on to talk about it before I watched it, but obviously Hilton's busy because even though he did the movie, he's still doing projects with Zombie with a Shotgun, more web series, and even a potential second movie. So we'll get Hilton on again. Hilton was one of the first guests we had on the show.
Yeah.
Especially one of the first guests on the show that we didn't know personally. We had GCR, Rob Bass, we had Graham, Matt Stetzel from Johnny Tryhard. We had those guys on, but we knew those people. Hilton, CJ Standel were one of the original guests we had on that we just met through social media.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, the movie is available on YouTube. All of it available 100% as on Hilton Ruiz's YouTube channel. I will put the link to the movie on our page so you guys can get to it. Check it out. It is awesome from the trailer and stuff I have seen of it. So I'm excited for that. So congrats to Hilton for the movie release. Hopefully we get you back on. We can talk a little bit more about that. The other one I want to talk about is actually something I kind of want to kick myself for not knowing about, because it's a ghost story movie that was actually filmed in Piéton.
No shit.
Yeah. So, the movie's called There May Be Ghosts. Like little plot line. In an effort to give filmmaking one last try, failed director Kip Swanson accepts a job to document an allegedly haunted house in his town, assembling a team of ghost experts, including his ex-girlfriend. So there's a girl that actually graduated high school with. Her sister is actually a producer on this movie. I guess you consider it an indie film. I don't know if that's insulting, but to me, it's an indie film. It was filmed in Piatone and Manteno, which I thought was actually kind of cool because I know actually recently, there was a filming for a TV show, that happened in Piatone like a couple months ago, but this isn't it. This is something completely different. But they actually did the premiere, yesterday, the 28th. Nice. They released that, I can't remember what's called. It's in Elmhurst. The Classic Cinemas York out there in Elmhurst.
Oh, okay. Cool.
They had their premiere. So, congrats to them. That's absolutely awesome. I actually commented on the release of it on, my classmate's, Facebook page, realizing that I knew nothing about it. I was like, if I knew, or if I knew this was a thing, this could have been a guest for this month. This would have been the perfect time to have a guest on.
No kidding.
So it's awesome that they did something like that. It's cool to, hopefully talk to somebody about it. And maybe if I get a chance to actually watch the movie, like I said, I don't know where it's released right now other than at this, theater, but I would love to get my hands on it and see the scenes from Manteno and Piatone and stuff like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. So, again, that one's called, There May Be Ghost. It is right now, I think, only released at that one theater in Elmhurst. So our local listeners can go check it out if it's still there. And, let me know how it is. You know, maybe I would love to take a trip up there, but I haven't been to a theater in like 2 years.
Right? Same.
Yeah. Okay. What else can we talk about, Joe?
I don't know. Sorry, I'm looking at this movie picture and I'm wondering how I was in this movie without knowing it.
Which one's that?
There May Be Ghosts.
Ooh, which picture?
Just on the film, on the whatchamacallit, the poster.
Oh, the dude off to the right?
Yeah.
That's totally you, bro. It's
right?
you, I believe that's Daniel Radcliffe there in the middle. I believe that could be Wilmer Vanderama there in the bottom left. I'm not sure who that weirdo is on the top left, though.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I don't know either.
Maybe we'll get that guy who looks just like you on here.
That would be fun. That'd be weird. I like it, though. Winslow Duffy. Sorry, there's cool names on this. I like it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have anything else to talk about today. I am definitely going to be watching Zombie with a Shotgun before our next recording so that we can talk about it.
Oh, but, yeah. I think when we're done here today, I think, I'm going to, pop on the PS5, pull up my YouTube app, and watch it on my 60-inch.
Nice. You got yourself a PS5.
Yeah, Christmas gift.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I hear they're tough to come by.
They, well, yeah, for somebody. My mom's boss's kid, I guess bought up a bunch of them.
Gotcha.
To, sell them at a higher rate, like some asshole would.
Yeah, scalpers.
Yeah, but luckily, mom's not somebody who's going to pay more for something, so she got a deal.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The only other thing I want to mention, and we're actually going to dive into this freaky tales here. You do have that all set up, right?
I do.
Cool, awesome. The only thing I do want to mention before that is something that I actually want to do maybe next year. Like I said, if the plans I talked about earlier go through and we could do this, I would love to vlog a trip to Salem, Massachusetts next year.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about that, but we can talk about that stuff next week. That's not going to be a big deal. Because I do want to get into this freaky show, and I want to make sure we have enough time before your furnace guy shows up. So,
thanks.
No problem. So I'm going to go ahead and kick back with my cough drops. I'm going to leave Freak Joe here with you guys as he brings you another story on Freaky Tales.
The Room in the Tower by E.F.Benson. It was when I was about 16 that I first had the dream, and this is what happened in it. I stood in front of a big red house and waited. Soon a man opened the door and said, "Go through into the garden and have some tea." I went through the living room and the kitchen and into the garden at the back of the house. There were 6 people there, sitting on chairs and drinking tea, but I didn't know them. Then one of the men spoke, and I saw that he was from my old school. I remembered his name, Jack Stone, but I didn't know him well. He told me that the others were his mother, father, and sisters. I didn't like it in the garden with those people. Nobody spoke to me, and it was very hot. I wanted to go home. In the corner of the garden was an old tower, a very tall, thin building. Suddenly, Mrs. Stone turned to me and said, "Jack is going to show you to your room now. It is in the tower." I did not know why, but her words frightened me. I knew the tower was dangerous, and I didn't want to go there. Jack stood up, and I knew I had to follow him. Inside the tower, we walked up in the dark, and then we arrived outside my room. Jack opened the door, and I always woke up suddenly before I went into the room. I had this dream many times. It was always the same. The garden, the family, the tower, and I always felt very hot and frightened when Mrs. Stone said, "Jack is going to show you to your room now." But I always followed him up in the dark, and when he opened the door, I always woke up. I never saw what was in the room. Then the people in the dream started to change. Mrs. Stone had black hair in the beginning, but after 15 years her hair was white and she was very old and weak. Jack got older too, and ill. One of his sisters went away and they told me she was married. I didn't like these people and I didn't want to have the same dream all the time, but it always came back to me in the night. Then suddenly the dream stopped for about 6 months. I was very happy and I tried to forget the garden, the people, and the tower. But one night it all started again. This time Mrs. Stone wasn't there and all the family wore black. Mrs. Stone is dead, I thought. Perhaps Jack isn't going to take me to the tower this time. But suddenly Mrs. Stone spoke. I couldn't see her, but she said, "Jack is going to show you to your room now." As usual, I followed him, but this time the tower was darker than before. From a window in the tower, I saw a stone in the center of the garden, under a tree with these words on it: "Remember the bad and dangerous Julia Stone." Again, I woke up cold and afraid. In the first week of August that year, I went with a friend, John Clinton, to stay in a house in Sussex. "Please come," he said. "My family are coming too, and they say there was a stone in the center of the garden, under a tree with these words on it." Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, there was a weird break there. In the first week of August, I went with a friend, John Clinton, to stay in a house in Sussex. "Please come," he said. "My family are coming to stay, and they say it's a very nice place where we can walk and swim. We can drive down together on Sunday afternoon." Sunday came, and we had a nice afternoon driving to Sussex in the sun. We arrived in the village where the house was at about 5 o'clock. We did not know where the house was, so we asked somebody. He told us it was over the river and behind some trees outside the village. John was the driver, and because it was so hot, I went to sleep as he drove. I woke up when the car stopped, and I found I was in front of the same house as the one in my dreams, the house of the Stone family. We walked through the living room and the kitchen and into the garden at the back. I knew without looking that there was a tower in the corner of the garden. It was very, very hot in the late afternoon sun. I waited to feel ill and afraid as I always did in my dream, but the people in the garden were not unfriendly. The Clinton family talked and laughed, and I liked them very much. Then Mrs. Clinton said to me, "Jack is going to show you to your room now. It is in the tower." And my friend John stood up. His family always called him Jack, and I followed him up to the room. I was afraid when he opened the door because in my dream I always woke up before I saw the room. But this time I went in. Everything was very nice inside, and my bags were ready for me on the bed. Perhaps it isn't bad here, I thought. Perhaps the bad dreams are going to stop now that I am here in the room in the tower. But then I saw 2 pictures near the bed, and that same cold fear came back. One picture was of Mrs. Stone, old and with white hair, as she often was in my dream. The other picture was of Jack Stone. His face was ill and angry, as he was in my last dream before this visit. I looked at the picture of Mrs. Stone for a long time. She had dangerous eyes, and they followed me around the room. John Clinton came back to tell me dinner was ready. I don't like this picture, John, I said. I'm going to have bad dreams tonight if it stays in here. Can we move it outside? Yes, said John. Let's move it now. But when we tried to carry it out, it was very, very heavy. We could not carry it. We put it down on the floor. John suddenly said, "Oh, look, there's blood on my hand, a small cut from this picture." Then I saw that there was blood on my hand, too. But after we washed our hands, we had no cuts, so we tried again to move the picture. I didn't want to look at Mrs. Stone's face as we moved her picture through the door, but her eyes followed me again. There was a smile on her face now, but her eyes were more dangerous than before. Her mouth was blood red, and the picture was heavier and heavier. We left the picture outside the door of my room. We went down to dinner, and when we finished, John and I went out into the garden to smoke. It was a very hot night, hotter than the day, and I didn't much want to go to bed. Suddenly a dog ran across the garden and sat under the tree I could see from my bedroom window. The dog sat on the place where the stone was in my dream, and it did not move. It was frightened. It sat and looked at the tower for a minute, and then ran away. Next came a cat, and it did the same thing. "Do you see those animals?" I asked John. "Why are they so afraid?" "I don't know," he said. At about midnight, we said good night, and I went to bed. It was very hot, but I was tired, and I thought I was ready to sleep. Without the picture of Mrs. Stone in my room, I was happier, and I didn't think about her dangerous smile or the cuts on our hands. I closed my eyes and slept. I woke up suddenly. I don't know what time it was. The room was very dark, and for a minute I didn't know where I was. Then, with sudden fear, I remembered. A light came on, and I saw a woman I knew, the woman in the picture. I saw those dangerous eyes, the blood-red mouth, the smile. Mrs. Stone put a cold hand on my neck and spoke. "So here you are in the tower, after so many years and so many dreams. Yes, I waited and waited for you, and then I stopped waiting, but at last you came. I'm so happy you came. Tonight I'm going to have a good dinner. I am thirsty. I am hungry. I'm waiting. Yes, I'm so happy that you came after all this time." Again, she put her cold hand on my neck, but then her face came slowly down and her teeth started to cut into me. I was too weak to move. But suddenly, I knew I had to get away quickly. I hit her hard in the face, and at the same time I jumped out of bed and ran to the door. John Clinton was outside. "I heard a noise," he said. "What is it? What's wrong?" And then, "Look, there's blood on your neck." "John," I said, "that woman in the picture we took from the room this afternoon, she came back. She's in there now. Her name is Julia Stone." John laughed. "You are having a bad dream," he said, and walked into the room to look. But he came out very fast, as white as me, and said, "You're right. She's there, and there's blood on the bed and on the floor." I don't know how I ran downstairs. My legs were weak, and it was difficult to stand, but soon we were out in the garden again. We left the house the next day. About a year later, I went back to the village to ask the people there if they knew anything about the owner and about Julia Stone. One very old woman knew the story, and this is what she told me. 8 or 9 years ago, a woman died in the room in the tower where you stayed. 3 times the village people tried to bury her at the church, but each time somebody saw the dead woman's ghost at night, with blood on her mouth and a dangerous smile. Then we knew that she killed people and drank their blood. We didn't want to try to bury her anymore, so we took her back to the house with the tower and buried her under the tree you can see from the window of that room. There she stays, waiting quietly, sometimes for many years. But people say she visits young men in their dreams, and she brings them here. I think you know what happens to them when they arrive. The end.
Good job, Joe.
Thank you.
That's the one sad part of coming to the end of October is that Freaky Tales ends.
Mm-hmm. It is always a good time.
Yeah, and we always got good stories. Like
great job picking them this year, by the way.
Yeah, no problem, man. Like I said, I wanted to find ones that were different, a little unique, not I wanted to try to find maybe authors that we never used before. I know one of the first two was actually an author we did a couple of years ago, but the rest of them were fairly new.
Mm-hmm.
So, but great work, awesome readings, always fun. Can't wait for the next one because they're always enjoyable. What are you freaking thinking about there, Joe?
What am I freaking thinking about? Probably Dune.
Why?
Dune came out this week on HBO, and in theaters, but I haven't seen it in the theater yet. I too have not been to a theater in 2 years. But it was available on HBO Max, and I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. We're going to be talking about it more in depth on Geekcast Live next week. If you want to tune in next Saturday to hear us do a deep dive on that, but by the way, that's just on Saturdays wherever you find podcasts, usually Spotify or iTunes.
Now that's Saturday the 6th or
correct.
Saturday the 30th. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the 6th.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it was, you know what? It was a fine movie.
I heard it was pretty good. I guess a lot of people went into the expectation it was just going to be kind of but they were definitely blown away by it.
Yeah, it was visually and audibly stunning. The music and the cinematography were excellent. I have trouble. I don't understand how someone who has never read the book would enjoy it, to be honest.
Gotcha.
There was a lot of stuff that I knew what was going on because I've read the book.
Mm-hmm.
But if I hadn't read the book, I'd be like, what, why, what is happening? So I don't know. Maddie definitely fell asleep during it because she didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I will say it is the most faithful adaptation of a book into a movie I've ever seen. So that's something.
Gotcha.
And I really enjoyed it. And I do think it's a good movie. I have trouble. So I've seen lots of people who do like it even though they've never read the book. So you might like it, you might not. I just feel like if you've never read the book, I don't know how you'd know what's going on. That's all. That's my only real critique of it. But it was good. I did enjoy it. So really looking forward to the next one that I like to call Tune.
Tune.
So yeah, instead of Dune 2, it's Tune.
So they're gonna work off the series then. There's gonna be multiple Dune movies.
I think so. So this one only went up through about half of the first book.
Okay.
So I think they're going to do the second half of the first book, and depending on how well that does, they might move on to Dune Messiah or Children of Dune or I don't know, whatever other ones they come up with.
Yeah, I was confused when I first heard about it because I thought everyone kept saying Doom. And I was like, didn't The Rock just make that fucking movie 10 years ago? But apparently it's not the same thing.
No, it's not.
No, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the Rock's version of Doom.
Yeah, pass.
So good to know.
It's like it's like that first shooter fucking view. So the camera is him.
Gotcha. Like Hardcore Henry.
Yeah. I forgot about Hardcore Henry. Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I think about it probably once a month.
Yeah. We talked about that on the show, right? We didn't have that.
I think
we didn't interview somebody about that, right?
No. I think Colin saw it. That was one of his movie picks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Colin.
Yep. So what are you freaking thinking about?
Not a whole lot. At least I am coming back from being sick. I'm on vacation from work currently. Try to get I'm swapping my rooms around here to give myself a bigger office, a bigger Freakin Studios to work out of. So I guess you can say I'm freaking on that, trying to get everything put together.
Nice.
I do got this desk. I do have to move out of the guest room. I've been thinking about leaving it there, kind of like, so you have a desk here.
Oh, nice.
Right? I mean, there's enough room I could. And I do need a secretary, so. I mean, plus it's a desk that my dad had when he was a child.
Nice.
So it's an old desk. So I guess the only thing I've been freaking out is the stuff around the house, trying to get things ready for fall. I've been meaning to mow my lawn for a while, but it keeps raining. And, just enjoying the fact that it's Halloween weekend and I actually get to enjoy it. This is probably the first time I've had it off to actually enjoy it. So, just that stuff. Not a whole lot. It's been a boring week, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I want to just wrap up here, go get something to eat, get something warm in my belly, maybe some pancakes as I sit down and watch Zombie with a Shotgun.
Very nice.
Yeah. Joe, you already mentioned it, but just to let everyone know again that every week they can catch Cartoon Joe here on this freaking show, or even the Freak Joe during the month of October. But we all know that an hour of Joe a week just isn't enough. So when the Freak Joe is over here and people are like, but I want to get Cartoon Joe too. Where's Cartoon Joe at?
If you need more Joe, cartoon or otherwise, you can find me over at the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Nice. Guys, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, just by searching This Freaking Show. Facebook is the best place to find all the information about the podcast, but we also do kind of throw pictures up on Instagram once in a while, and we'll retweet something over on Twitter on occasion. But Facebook is the best place to not only see what's going on with us, but also to reach out to us if you have any comments, suggestions, or if you even want to be on the show. There's an apology to a couple people that it turns out you have been reaching out to us on our website, but apparently the website's been screwing up and not letting me know. So I am sorry for those who asked to be on this show that I never got your information about. So if you do want to be a guest on our show to talk about your movies, your games, or whatever you're doing, reach out to us at thisfreakinshow@yahoo.com or message us on Facebook. Either I or Cartoon Joe will get back to you. We love having people on talking about their creations. So just best way to reach out to us on there until we get the website figured out. But the website is thisfreakinshow.com. I just updated it this morning with a couple new sponsors like Carter Comics and a little more detail about what those sponsors offer you guys for being part of our show. So do check out thisfreakinshow.com, and it gives you a link to all the amazing guests we've had in the past. You can find our show on any podcast platform that's out there, Podbean, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes. All you gotta do is search This Freaking Show and it'll pop up anywhere. So, special thanks to Carter Comics for being a sponsor of the podcast. Again, that's CarterComics.com. Buy their amazing products and make sure you put Cartoon Joe in the shipping, comments so they know we sent you. And also Audible.com. Thank you for sponsoring the podcast. Go to audibletrial.com, sign up today and get a 30-day free trial plus a credit to your first book purchase. That's all I got here, listeners. So, as always, I am Travesty.
And I'm the Freak Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freaky Show. I'm out.